Hello again, I am Blunty, and that of course is Starfield, a game which I imagine in the extremely near future I won't even have to introduce by name anymore, just to avoid having people pop up in the comments and saying, hey, what game are you playing at this timestamp in the video? Its look and UI will be as instantly and iconically recognizable as Skyrim, or Fallout 4, or Minecraft, or GTA 5. Today I wanted to touch on a few fine-tuning fixes you might want to look at, or some very light modding for some quality of life stuff, if you are coming out of the weekend hot from playing the game, or are indeed just about to start playing the game, because of course it's still in early access technically. The only people playing are the people who paid extra to play, of which apparently there are well over 1 million, so it's going to be real interesting to see what happens to the player base once, you know, the regular paying people get in, and the people who are playing for no additional cost on Game Pass. But in any case, as we are less than 24 hours from, you know, actual proper launch day, hopefully this video will be of tremendous use to you. Let me know in the down below what mods you are liking so far, if you have been modding already, or which ones you hope get made, or perhaps which ones you liked in Skyrim or Fallout 4 and the like, and you hope, you know, a version comes over to this. So before we get into the more moddy mods, here's what my own INI file looks like and why I made those changes. So this is my Starfield custom.ini file. It is a file you'll have to create yourself, as it's not created by default by the game. You got to save it to a particular directory, for which Steam players it will be in your My Games directory in your Documents folder and inside a subdirectory called Starfield. And I've just realized I'm mixing my folders and directory labeling, aren't I? That's a Gen X thing. We used to call them directories before they were called folders. You kids know that? Anyway, it's easy to find. Those first lines under Archive are a requirement for quite a lot of mods. It makes sure the game doesn't freak out when it finds new files from mods where it wasn't expecting them, or replacing other files so they've got the wrong date on them and stuff like that. It'll be basically essential to have this one. Next, standard Bethesda game edit stuff I've had to do for every single bloody time I've played a Bethesda game, because for some reason Bethesda won't put a goddamn field of view slider into their settings menus, because I don't know why! It's insanity that they don't do this. Pure, feral insanity. Because the game can do it. There are commands for it, and you can do it in the ini file. Just put a slider in the menu! For fuck's sake! The numbers here are for your field of view in first and third person views in degrees. Anyway, I've got mine set to 100, which is what I also used in Fallout 4. The game's default on PC is 85. Not too bad, but still far too claustrophobic for my tastes. I suggest most people start at about 90 degrees and work your way up or down in 5-degree increments to find what you like. You will have to close the game, edit this file, and then reboot the game for this to take effect, although I did think I saw a mod that can do this change on the fly as I was browsing Nexus yesterday, so I'll link that down below if I can re-find it. But I didn't bother with that because I already know what field of view I like in these games. And no, the classic Bethesda console commands for changing the FOV don't seem to work in Starfield. I tried both versions of them on day one and neither of them worked. Though other commands, familiar to Fallout 4 for example, do work. So for some reason, they've specifically disabled that command in the console, as well as not giving us a slider. Do Bethesda just hate giving players the ability to change their field of view? What the hell is up with this? Anyway, next, this one just stops the message of the day from popping on the main menu. It's benign right now, just a little welcome message, but it will be used for advertising soon enough, I imagine. It just doesn't need to be there. It doesn't serve a useful purpose. It's just clutter for no good reason, despite what some people think about simple menu screens. Next comes another standard Bethesda ini tweak, turning off their nasty-ass mouse acceleration, thank you very much, and adjusting the movement scaling for the X and Y axis of mouse movement. Like FOV, you can tweak these to your liking. The numbers I have here are just some I copy-pasted to start with, and they seem pretty good to me, so I left them as is. Next, that Fukugusikidele one. That's to reduce how long you have to hold down the button for when you want to pick up an object. Like, for example, a bucket. Yes! We did the Bethesda thing. The default is way too long, longer even than Fallout 4's default, I think. At least it feels that way, I haven't done the checking. But a 0.3 setting here makes it 300 milliseconds, a much nicer feeling in-game when you just want to pick up, say, a bucket, and away you go. Lastly, this one's directly tied to activating a mod. Some mods will need entries like these, so keep an eye out for them in the mod descriptions and, install instructions and whatnot. Now, for the actual mods themselves, first up, what will soon become an essential mod, just like its Skyrim and Fallout variants were before it, the Starfield Script Extender, SFSE, SFSE, which is tricky to say. I've just tried to say it several times. SFSE, SFSE. Jesus wept. That's the first time I've tried to say that out loud. SSE is the Skyrim script extender, so we can't call it that. We have to call it SFF. Fuck's sake. I can't do it! The script extender for Starfield. It's not a mod in itself, really, but an underpinning of what other mods will need to be using. No need to worry too much about the techno-babble of it all. It's basically just some basic building blocks for other mods to use to make modding easier, faster, and much, much more powerful. So get the SFSE. I will never be able to say that properly, I'm sure. I'm just going to call it the script extender. Baka Achievement Enabler. This is the only mod I have so far that needs the SFSE, and it makes it so certain mods, or even console commands, don't mark your file for being invalid for achievements. I really don't care too much about achievements personally, really, especially on Steam, but I installed this mostly to test that my install of SFSE was working properly. Oh my god. But for some people and certain mods, this will be a very handy thing to know about. Compact Inventory UI. Much like all other games from Bethesda, inventory management in Starfield is a mess. This is the first of several quality of life mods I'm expecting to come along to help fix various inventory issues. This one simply compacts things down a bit so you spend less time scrolling through lists and categories. There's another one I've not tried yet, as I only just spotted it as I was putting this video together, but it goes a lot further in showing off way more useful information on the inventory screen, so I'm definitely going to give that a go. I'll link it down below for you. Less spongy enemies. I'm playing on hard mode, but the one thing I didn't like about hard mode is the massive increase on just how bullet spongy even the most basic enemies become in this mode. Burning all of my ammo on one set of encounters is not fun gameplay mechanics to me, especially in a game where ammo isn't even craftable for some bizarre reason. Considering I can craft entire settlements, why can't I just make more ammo? Why are you forcing me to buy it? And no vendor in the game has a good supply of any of this ammo, so I have to go around 17 different vendors just to stock up on my ammo again. So this mod turns down that sponginess, and you can choose how far down to turn it too. So my enemies I now still work to take down. I haven't trivialized combat or anything like that. Don't want to do that. I want to play the combat. But I also don't want to have to empty the munitions inventory of the United States Air Force to do it. So this helps rebalance that for me. Helmet Torchlight Texture Swap. This was the very first mod I installed. It simply changes the Torchlight's gobo to something nicer. By default, the torch was barely usable. It was so dim and so inconsistent, and just look at it. We're in space. We're able to leap light years of distance between different planetary bodies and different stellar systems, but somehow my headlamp is from 1932? Get out of here with that. Stop. This mod also inspired a bunch of meme copycats, of course it did, with all kinds of gobos for the light, there's bat signal and faces, and you can imagine, I'm sure. I bet you there's some titty ones out there if you want that. I bet you there's some titty ones. Quickly, Robin, there's the titty signal. Get to the titty-mobile. Robin? Robin. All right, you're not interested in titties. Finally, but perhaps my favorite quality of life mod yet, move or disable XP bar. By default, every single time you discover a new location or earn XP even, there's a very intrusive, very distracting alert that pops right in the middle of your fucking view, obscuring whatever it is you're actually trying to look at in the game. Who made that decision for the UI, Bethesda? Idiotic. This mod moves, or completely removes that. I've got mine popping off to the left-hand side now, like how Fallout did it, but much smaller and even more subtle than that even. And that's it, for now at least. I'll definitely be checking Nexus mods at least twice a day for all kinds of useful quality of life and UI fixes and interesting and fun mods. I just got a special suit of armor in the game. I'm not going to show it to you because spoilery, but there's a few different skins available for that already, which I might change because I don't like the default colors of it. So again, let me know down below what mods you're liking. What ones are you using? What ones are you hoping for? Which one did you use in Skyrim or Fallout 4 you want to come across? Speaking personally, I'd like a mod to fiddle with the UI colors. I'd like to be able to craft multiple things at the same time, so I don't have to craft health packs one by one by one by one. I can just make 10 at a time. That'd be nice. Shipbuilding needs a lot of quality of life improvements in its interface. Oh boy, does it. And of course, I would welcome bug fix mods for any of the many bugs that still exist within Starfield. Despite it being quote-unquote the least buggy Bethesda game, true to my original prediction, least buggy Bethesda game means nothing. This beach has the least amount of sand on it, on any beach. That's still quite a lot of sand, mate. Thanks for watching. I am Blunty, and I will catch you next time.